Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today we're going to do our build and play guide on Algerie Winter, right? This is currently in the shop. We'll go show you where it is here. Winter Holidays, it's shipments, and then you go over here to Algerie. So it's on a pretty good discount, along with New Orleans. They're both very good. A lot of these winter ships are great, to be honest with you. That being said, guys, this plays actually a fair amount like New Orleans in some ways, right? You have some really good guns, and you just gotta you decide whether you're using AP or HE, and know when to shoot your guns and know what overmatches you, right? That's like the biggest thing in this ship. That being said, for our commander, we're using Sarika because she's awesome as always. All right, we're using Hagero with Mimbelli, and we're taking beyond range because this cruiser does have a very limited range. Otherwise, I think it's like 14-3 if you take the burn it down. Punch through, focus fire, fixated, and fully packed. Normally, the ship only has two reload boosters, but because of Sarika and fully packed, we have four, and they're lethal when you can get a chance to use them. So, you also have four sonars and four catapult fighters. Also, I don't know if I did this. Aiming systems mod 1, prop and concealment as always here, guys. Now, uh, these reload boosters, by the way, if you're not familiar with them, they boost your main battery speed by 50%. They are very handy when you have Sarika. Like these things, they're handy all the time, but you want to save them more when you don't have Sarika. So if you don't have Sarika, just use them when you got a good broadside, right? When you have Sarika and you have four, you kind of just want to use them when they're available, when you have a good opportunity. Survivability, 35,000 hit points, but that can be gone real quickly. I'll show you here in a second. You do have eight 203s, so you have eight-inch guns. And by the way, for those of you guys wonder, this is absolutely just like the tech tree Algerie, right? It's just like the New Orleans is like the New Orleans. But for some people that may want a premium version of it to make more money, because Tier 6 is a very good, it's obviously not as good as 7, but for some people that are not as good of players, they're going to win more at Tier 6, and that's going to be a better return on investment for money and XP and stuff. So, that being said, main battery, it's 14.2 normally, so it's pretty close. Reload booster, or with the reload, it's 12 seconds. So reload booster, these are hitting off at every 6 seconds. So you can do some damage real quickly with these guns. I mean, traverse 25 seconds, pretty accurate ship for the most part. HE, as you can see at 2,900, pens 34 with a 16% fire chance. You could really build into that fire chance if you want, but it's already pretty darn good. No reason to go over crazy with it. But AP, pretty solid. The AP on this thing, do not underestimate it. All right. You get up close, you will, and I have and will, Ken Citadel battleships up close, especially something like a Florida or something that like a Nelson, another example, right? Like if you get pretty close, you can do it. Um, that being said, however, really your main focus is cruisers. So and its fusing arm threshold is 34, so you're not going to really use your AP on destroyers um, because it's not enough armor to pen or get your shells to arm. Uh, Secondary is not really worth mentioning. Torpedoes, you have six. You have two or three per side. I mean, they're 9 kilometers, so they can come in handy. Obviously, they're not bad. They're pretty. They're pretty. I mean, for a cruiser to have 9 kilometer torps, I mean, they're handy, but I have a tendency to use them more times than not defensively or when I'm ambushing. AA defense, not terrible, but a lot of it, it's in that 3.5 kilometers, but you can shoot down planes if you want. Maneuverability, this thing is pretty agile for what it is. It's a heavy cruiser, right? And it's got a 660 turning circle and a 8.5 rudder. Not terrible. Um, Concealment, not great. It's a French cruiser. This is the thing that's going to get you in trouble most is the detection on it. But once you get used to French cruisers, you're fine. So, like for example, for some reason, me and French cruisers get along fantastically well. You guys saw the match yesterday, or that 4,300 base game in a Tech Tree St. Louis, right? So, and I was playing it aggressive. So, again, like you just got to be careful in the ship, like always in French cruisers. You can see our stats pretty solid, right? We're only doing 6,500 or 65,000 damage, which doesn't seem like a lot for me. But when you see the XP that we're getting, almost 2K, that means we're doing effective damage with that, right? That's not burning down for 100,000 and then wondering why we lost because we were at the back of the map. All right. Can you play at the back or can you kite with the French cruisers? Yes, but please just get used to using them closer in, right? It'll help you so much more. But you can see we've been pretty decent in this. Main guns at 49%. You can see pretty solid. Um, Armor. This is going to be the biggest issue with the ship. The main guns are fantastic. You'll do some damage. But there's a couple things with this ship that is unique with it, right? Because you have 8 guns, 4 on the front, 4 on the back, you're going to try to want to shoot off your rear guns all the time. If you are spotted, be careful with that life choice because you go broadside in this thing and it is bad. Why is that bad? Well, battleships, you have a 22 side plate here. I'm going to show why this is important here. 22 on your side. And you have a overmatch, or your, as you can see, your bow and stern are 16. So anything over a normal cruiser is going to be, eh, um, for shooting through your bow. Now, cruisers themselves, though, you can actually angle to. And the reason is because you have a 22 side plate and a torpedo protection plate, your belt really, but as you can see here, you have 2 sets of armor. Again, you can angle this stuff in this ship. I would be very careful, however, on battleships. All right, why is this? Because this is your stinking citadel on this thing, and because you have this extra layer of armor here, a lot of times you're not getting overpinned in this thing. All right, so you can bounce some shells, but I would not rely on that. I would use island cover, be smart, uh, and do yourself a favor and not get wrecked in this thing really quickly, because you can and will. As we start the match, it's disclaimer time. This is a beginner's video meant to help people new to the ship or new to the game. This is not meant for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything in the universe. There are multiple ways to play and build this ship, and I am an above average player, not the world's best. I make mistakes, you may see one in this match. You didn't come here for pronunciations. I'm as good as anybody at slaughtering beautiful languages all the time. With that out of the way, we're going to have a very good showcase for you guys today. This is going to really show how to play the ship, I think, effectively without being at the back of the map, right? Now, one thing I'll say is you do not want to be the first ship spotted in this thing. You have terrible detection, and you will get absolutely mauled. So you can say, I'm staying back a little bit. And also, it's okay not to shoot off your guns every waking moment. And we're going to try to head for some island cover to get in a better position. Now, You'll notice I have AP loaded. Generally, on heavy cruisers, for the most part, there's some exceptions, but tier 6 and down, if it's a 203 heavy cruiser, like a 203 or better, or even a in between, I use AP. I lean onto it more because you're going to get more broadsides at this tier. But the HE obviously is very good on the ship. So just pick your shots, and I know what to, you can switch at any time, right? So here we get spotted. I let my teammates know I got spotted, so they're not surprised. We have a California New Orleans. And I get spotted and I go dark again, meaning I know where it is. It's right there in that gap. So I know where a destroyer is going to be or a cruiser. So we're going to go ahead and work up. And I thought maybe when I set them torps off, it was a destroyer getting ready to come in the cap, try to blitz us. So I threw out some torps. Just whatever happens, right? We're going to take a shot at New Orleans. Nothing's going to happen there. He's too far. He was at the edge of our range. And you're going to see we're going to get to this island cover. Atlanta gets spotted, and that's problematic because I want you guys to watch this AP here. We use our reload booster, and as you can see here, we are going to waffle stomp this Atlanta. All right? We took half his health on the first level. The second one, we're going to go ahead and send out. The third, our last salvo with our reload booster, we're gonna obliterate him. That was very close to being the game considering a dub strike. Mass is spotted. I forget now that I have AP loaded for a couple salvos here. And you're gonna see we still do a chunk, but we're really not getting that much damage. If we had hit that with 5 shells with HE, he'd been real rough, right? We're gonna switch over to HE for the cruiser now. And again, we're just not doing much, right? We're going to go ahead and keep pushing up. I was hoping to get a attempt at this Pensacola because he's sailing broadside. I thought for sure he was going to go broadside to us, and he doesn't. Our California absolutely smacks him. I don't know why you go broadside to a California. That is a poor life choice. So we're pushing up. And again, we're not at the back of the map. Right, we're using island cover, and this match is going to showcase that. The only thing this is going to have a rough time with, right? For some reason, I'm not going to have the best luck with fire chances. Otherwise, this could have been a really good, really crazy game for you guys to watch. But you're going to see here, we're going to take some shots here now on Mackenzie, and you're gonna see we're gonna hit shells. Like, this thing is accurate, besides obviously smoking islands once in a while, but we're just not gonna get a ton of good luck on our fire chances, and sometimes that happens. And I think this is probably the least amount of fires I've ever had in a French cruiser that I didn't get deb struck in the first 5 minutes on. So but either way, you can see we're using an island. We can lob pretty well with it, even though it's a heavy cruiser. It's still, French, and you can still lob a lot with the French cruisers. We're going to go ahead, back up, try to not get spotted by North Carolina shooting our guns. And again, it's a German battleship, right? So we're not going to get a ton of full pens on this thing. And you're going to see, I'm going to switch over to AP. There, when he goes broadside, obviously we hit all 8 shots. We do get our first fire after 53 shells in the match. Now, to be fair, we've been switching ammo types, obviously, but still, it kind of can be rough sometimes. So we're going to go ahead. Mackenzie's not spotted. We're going to do our best here on North Carolina for the time being. New Orleans is right next to me, and you're going to see... when I realized that, I'm like, okay, well, not ideal to be in the same spot, but I also don't want to pull out. And again, this is going to be a good match for showcasing that, because you're going to see this destroyer get spotted here, right? And I realize, okay, I can actually, if I figure out where Mackenzie is, I could actually go for this cap. because this is a close game, and the uh, team has actually, the cap advantage, right? And they have a destroyer. Even though we did try to help get rid of it, he's still around. So, once I realized he's clearly going away and he's got his hands full over there, we're going to go around this corner. And the reason we are is we now know, because of that last spotting of Mackenzie, he's driving away. If we need to go dark with our guns, we can, right? So you don't have to shoot every waking moment, but Mackenzie doesn't have his guns pointed towards us. And again, when you're in the ship, you need to be knowing where the guns are pointed on battleships and making sure you're not the focus of battleships. All right. So right here, again, guns are not pointed at us. And then I take a look at North Carolina. He is more looking over here, so you got to be very careful. I'm checking where he's planning on going there with the torps. It's one thing that's really handy with these. He's actually going to shoot HE at me, and thankfully I'm happy, because that one shell in the front, that could have been a Citadel. But I have enough health where I'm okay. Obviously, we're going to put that fire out just because we don't have any heals. Normally I wouldn't do that, but I'm expecting North Carolina to go ahead and shoot some AP at us. If it's HE, I'm not too worried, I guess, either. My life isn't at risk. You can see we're going to break contact with the island. You can see he doesn't have much health left, so I'm not super worried. We switch over to AP. He takes a shot at someone else, and you're going to do your best to dodge in this ship too, right? So had he shot at us, I would have turned out and maybe slowed down or sped up, just something a little bit different. Now over here, we're going to try to get the cap, but there is going to be an obnoxious Helena shooting at us. Of course, he gets reset, so we're going to go dark here for a second and get our scoot our butt up to this Helena. Now, obviously, it's looking good now. Their destroyer's gone. Our California on the other side is having himself a good match. Even with the carrier is absolutely focusing on him. I actually thought Helena was going to go forward. He does not. We load AP up. And again, we're going to showcase the AP here. We're going to swing these turrets around, or this ship around, and we're going to take a nice little healthy shot at him. And it looks like he is going to turn in a little bit, so we switch over to HE. But he gets wrecked. Again, hitting 6 of our shells with this thing. Especially if you pay attention to the reload boosters, like that reload, or when we reload boosted that Atlanta, I think we hit like 6 or 7 shells every time. Right? Except for the salvo that killed him, because I don't think we needed that many shells. But this thing is lethally accurate when you have Sarita when you have Sarita on it. It's even accurate otherwise too, but man, them reload boosters with Sarita are really good. That being said, we're going to speed up the end of the match here to get to the carrier, but we obviously did have a solid game, helping out, kind of whittle down everybody. We only had 3 fires though. Very low, because this could have been a much better game had we got luckier on fires, obviously, on the battleships that seem to hang around forever. We go ahead and spot Wesser. And even though he starts moving, he's going to run away from me, which is sad, because this could have been really, really good. We're going to use a reload booster, and we're going to start chunking him, right? There's 4 shells. There's another 4. His health is going very quickly, even without citadels. But he's going to run away. We're not going to be able to do a whole lot to him once he gets running away. Obviously, I wish he had kind of came for me earlier. I had a bunch of health, would have helped the score out, but he went after California, and California obviously going to have a decent game because he got a clear sky. Like, anybody that goes after a California in a carrier, good luck. You're not going to have much planes left, right? And clearly by his drop on the ship or on me, you can clearly tell probably wasn't the world's best carrier player. It happens. But we don't get really another shot on him, and we end the match here. 82,000 Confederate cap. We cap the base. clearly helping our team win. A pretty solid match for the tier. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time, folks.